if I told you that there is a universe in which rifles are peculiar branches, cars and airplanes are animals, money totally useless, and binoculars are artifacts where tiny people are trapped? My name is Ester Mora, and today's podcast is about the cultural analysis of the 1980 movie The Gods Must Be Crazy, directed by Jamie Uys. The story takes place in the Kalahari Desert, located in South Africa. The characters are very peculiar. The protagonist is she, a man leader of the Bushman tribe. Then there are two other characters, Miss Kate Thompson and Andrew Stein, white, blonde, educated people from the Western society. Sam Boga is another important character. He is a terrorist leader of the Barani. The secondary characters are Jack Hind, a tour guide, and M. Puri, Andrew's assistant. I will tell you the key points of the story as I analyze the cultural elements involved. The movie begins with the contrast between two antagonist cultures, the Bushmen and the Western society. The Bushmen are very creative people. They don't differentiate Sunday from Monday or Friday. They don't know what punishment is because everyone lives in harmony. They respect nature to the point of apologizing to the prey they are going to hunt. Later on, the movie shows an antagonist culture, the Western society. Within this society, people have full agendas, the days are hectic, people don't adapt to nature. But they adapt nature to people, and materialism is a common trait. Cultural practices tend to be ritualized and standardized actions that members of the culture carry out in isolation or in interaction with each other. They are divided in operations, acts, scenarios, and lives. Having an agenda is an operation that exists in the Western society, but is totally inexistent for the Bushmen. Hunting, on the other hand, is an example of an operation and an act, while for the Western society is a mere mundane capitalist operation. After providing context on these two cultures, the movie really begins when she, the leader of the Bushmen and protagonist of the story, finds an empty bottle of Coke that was thrown from an airplane window. He thought it was the most beautiful gift he had received from the gods. Some of the members used the bottle as a musical instrument, others used it to smash food. Products can be natural or artificial. They are created or adapted by the members of the culture. In this case, the bottle of Coke, which is a common artifact for the Western society, was adapted for different uses by the Bushmen. As they started using the bottle, it became indispensable in their daily tasks. However, there was something wrong with the bottle. It couldn't be shared. So the members of the tribe started to fight for the bottle and hit each other with it. That situation brought shame and embarrassment to the tribe. Products are those things we can perceive with our senses, from visible things like buildings or artifacts to abstract things like songs or smells, and they are related to cultural practices of communities. In the case of the bottle, it came to change the behavior of the Bushmen, who discovered individuality and started to fight for the new artifact. Worried about the situation the Bushmen were going through with the bottle of Coke, she, the leader of the Bushmen, decided to go to the end of the earth and give the bottle back to the gods. Collectivism was a common value shared by the Bushmen, value that was violated upon the arrival of the bottle. In collectivist societies, decisions are made based on what's best for the group. The individuals are dependent and protected by the group. For that reason, she decided to do what was best for the tribe. While the Bushman is in his journey, Kate Thompson meets Andrew Stein, a clumsy man who gets nervous around women. He is asked about his profession, and instead of saying he's a biologist analyzing manure for his thesis, he says he picks up animal poop. Andrew gives Kate the most chaotic ride of her life. His car has no handbrakes and no doors. She gets stressed and wants to continue by herself. One night, when Andrew and Kate are camping, a rhino approaches, and Andrew puts out the fire camp to avoid being seen by the animal. Kate doesn't see the animal and doesn't believe necessary the fire thing, because how would a poop scooper know about animals anyway? In the meantime, the leader of the Bushmen comes across a rifle, but he perceives it as a peculiar branch and grabs it in a funny manner that scares a guy away. The Bushman gets totally confused, but continues with his journey. When the Bushman finds Kate, he thinks she's the ugliest person he has ever seen, because Kate's slim, blonde, and pale. The Bushman also thinks that Kate and Andrew are gods, and attempts to give them back the bottle, but they refuse. The Bushman leaves disappointed. It is interesting how beauty is subjective, and its perception depends on the cultural context. Perspectives answers why people of a culture do things in the way they do. Perceptions, beliefs, and values are shared by members of the culture, manifested in products, norms, expectations, and attitudes. The perspective of intelligence and beauty depends on the person's culture and reality. Afterwards, Jack Hind, a handsome but pretentious tour guide, appears in a supercar and offers Kate a ride to her destination. Andrew and Kate part ways. Then, Jack brags about his car, showing a common trait of masculine societies. In dominant masculine societies, achievement, ambition, pretentious manliness, and behaviors associated to men are present. In this same line, members of cultures with high rates of monumentalism value self-pride, self-promotion, and interpersonal competition. At the same time, Kate arrives to Mavila to teach kids. People start to sing at unison and wave their hands while smiling. Kate gets confused and doesn't know how to react. In the meantime, the Bushman is starving, so he hands an animal. He apologizes to the animal as part of his ritual, but he does so in private property, a concept that is valued in individualistic societies. The Bushman gets totally confused because he comes from a highly collectivist tribe and everything is to be shared. He is taken to court, he smiles, but nobody smiles back. Andrew's assistant, Empudi, who had once hidden in the Kalahari Desert and knows the Bushman language, serves as an interpreter in the trial. Empudi comes back home and tells Andrew the sad story, considering the judge's decision unfair because she, the Bushman, ignores the Western rules and he was just hungry. He and Andrew manage to take him out of jail. Andrew and Pudi teach the Bushman how to drive a car. She, the Bushman, thinks that cars are animals. One day, she, Andrew, and Pudi and Jack are exploring around when a lion comes. Most of the guys climb a tree, but Jack Hind, the tour guide, starts his car and leaves everyone behind instead of waiting for them, showing individualism, a common trait in the Western culture. In this context, individualistic societies expect their members to look after themselves and their immediate family members. Later on, there is a made-up city in the movie, Debirani. This city has a terrorist leader called Samboga, who kills ministers, members of the cabinets, and agriculturists of Botswana, the same country in which Kate was staying. Samboga and his people take Kate and her students as hostages and make the kids walk for miles until Kate make him stop because the kids were exhausted. While Kate and the kids are hostages, the Bushman, Empudi, and Andrew are climbing a mountain. Andrew is using binoculars and the Bushman thinks Andrew is using a magic artifact that keeps people inside. Andrew notices that Kate is one of the hostages and masterminds a plan to save her. He and Pudi train the Bushman to shoot some tranquilizer needles to the enemies. The Bushman proves to be a fast learner and manages to camouflage behind a bush and saves Kate and the kids. The tour guide, Jack Hind, happens to be near, and when Kate and the kids are safe, he takes the credit of the rescue, regarding himself as a hero. Kate doesn't know that Andrew, Empudi, and the Bushman are the real heroes. Of course, Andrew and Empudi get upset. Finally, the Bushman and the guys say goodbye. The Bushman wishes Andrew to have many kids, while Andrew gives him money as a way of appreciation. But the money blows away with the wind, showing how money is not meaningful or useful for the Bushman. Andrew, supported by his friend Empudi, takes courage and declares his love to Kate, who later understands his condition, finds him cute, and kisses him. The movie ends with the Bushman reaching the highest cliff and throwing the bottle back to the gods. It's been a great pleasure to present you the cultural analysis of the movie The Gods Must Be Crazy. This is Ester Mora. Thank you so much for joining.